like I said, thank you so much for meeting with me. I promise I won't take too much of your time, but I just want to ask you a few questions about your upcoming project, Dusk to Dawn. You're going to be featured over at EUPHORIA. Shout out to EUPHORIA Magazine. How are you feeling right now? I mean, we're about a week out. How does it feel?
I don't know, it kind of hasn't really hit me yet, you know, like I've been working on the project for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. So like, it's kind of just setting in right now, you know, everything's getting finalized. We're finally getting to the finish line. So I'm a bit nervous, but I'm really excited. You know, I'm just excited to just give back to the people that supported me. So.
Wow, that's a long time coming.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I'm not gonna lie. We started the project probably at the brink of COVID, probably that. Like, and it was like winter here, so like it was me, my executive producer. His name's Ozcan, just saying, and we literally just put our heads down and just focused on it. So, yeah.
Something good to come out of COVID, I guess. What do you hope for when your fans listen to it?
If I'm honest, I just hope people just resonate with it. And I think when I was going into it, it's very therapeutic for me. You know, like a lot of escapism and a lot of like being introspective on like my lyricism and like my emotion, how it was conveyed in the lyrics. And I hope people can just resonate with like the highs or even the lows, because I feel like I was very diverse on this project, and I took it to R&B, I took it to pop, hip hop, and alternative R&B. And I feel like there's so much room for people to just maybe resonate with the lyrics or just like tap into like an experience that they might have went through, and hopefully it can help them as well.
That's awesome. I think you bring up a great point, because when listening to your music, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what genre you are. I think you can hear aspects of pretty much everything in there. What do you classify yourself as?
I'm just a creator. I don't, you know, I just create. And that's like what I want to be. I don't want to be put in a box necessarily. And I feel like being genreless is like, you know, that has the most artistic integrity to me. Like artists like a Kid Cudi, The Weeknd, Post Malone, Travis, like even Kanye, like he's the best example of being a genreless artist in a way, and how he bends genres together to mold his own like world. And that's what I want to do. So I think Dusk to Dawn was just like, you know, a little like open window to that before we really like blow it out of the water.
What was the biggest part of the creative process for your project?
The creative process. The biggest part to my creative process. That's a really good question. I've never been asked that. The biggest part to my creative process. Probably my inspirations. You know, I think that helped it helped funnel where I wanted to take it, because when I started this project, Dusk to Dawn, we only started with 3 songs. We had Vultures, Have You, and My Ways. And at that time, I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it. I didn't know what direction I wanted to take. I didn't think of like the name or the symbolism or like anything to do with like even some of the inspirations I'm pulling from now. I think it was just as much a journey as it was for me as it was for the listener that's going to be listening to it. Because as I was creating, I was finding out more things about myself. So like a lot of things that helped me through that creative process was like my team and the amount of sacrifices they made to like help my vision come to reality. The city itself, like Vancouver, I think like a lot of creators are here that just, you know, inspired me. Like the Rascals back in the day, I think they were the first trailblazers, and that really like, you know, put a chip on my shoulder of what I wanted to do. And like even, you know, the Weeknd's rollout, that really inspired me as well. And just how cohesive he was in the rollout, like how he connected the music videos to like the songs and then the trailer, and like it was all just so like he really built a world, and it was so fascinating to me because that's what I fell in love with when I used to listen to Kid Cudi and stuff. So
yeah, I think your projects so far have definitely you know, bridged that gap between making it, you know, not just a single, not just a music video. It all kind of is cohesive. It all has a story. I would also argue that you definitely have a fashion presence as well. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yay. No, I'm playing. Like, I don't know. I think, you know, growing up, it's funny that you say I have a fashion presence, because I was one of the cringiest kids in high school. I used to wear colored jeans. I used to wear colored jeans and like straighten my hair in high school, and I'm black. Like, why the hell? You know, like I have 3 sisters, so they just rip me apart. But like, nah, for real, like, I don't know. I just like growing up, I used to see like A$AP Rocky. Like he was one of the jiggiest like niggas I've ever seen in my life. And like him and like Drake and like the snapbacks that Tyga used to wear, Mac Miller, like, oh my God. Like I just saw it. It was just so cool. And then I guess like what I'm doing now, I don't know, I really like colors and like beads and stuff. So it's just a way to express myself. I don't know. But thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you think, I guess, rap, I mean, it's very influential in pop culture as a whole. Do you think fashion and rap go hand in hand?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh yeah. If you ain't looking nice, then it's not gonna work. No,
Yeah.
but like I just think it's just a way for like creators and like people to just express themselves, honestly. I think it's just we live in a society now where social media more than anything, it taps you into that back curtain of an artist now, and you can really learn absolutely everything about them. And I think it's a beautiful thing, don't get me wrong, but I think, fashion is just another tipping point of that. And it's amazing because fashion and art and like music, they're all just worked in hand for so many like years now. And like, I pay so much respect to like people like, the creators of the fashion world. I feel like they're really setting that tipping point for what's going to come next. And I think like those type of trailblazers, bleed into the music just as much now. Like you can pull, Kanye, he is a perfect example again of that,
Yes.
Travis Scott, who else? I don't know. I can go on for years. You know what I mean? It's just always been like that. And I think that's one of my goals, honestly, one day is just to tap into that world of fashion. And I think it's amazing. Yeah.
You mentioned Vancouver, which is where you're at right now, I assume. Um, how do you feel that that influences your music and everything that you're doing creatively? I mean, it's crazy. I feel like Canada as a whole right now has such a crazy music scene and rap scene specifically. I mean, you just did a song with Charmaine. She's blowing
Yeah.
up. I mean, how does that influence you and how does your location, influence your creative process?
I think it honestly made me the man I am today. I first and foremost, I grew up in a city outside of Vancouver, actually. It's called Chilliwack, BC. It's like 80,000 people. It's a really like farmland isolated. And that would really like, made me the man I am today, because I wasn't grown in like a big city atmosphere by any means.
Right.
I played rugby my whole life and I just grew up there. And then that sports mentality, helped me dive into like music. So I feel like Vancouver, more than anything, it shaped like my culture. It shaped everything I am today in a way, just on bleeding into like music more than anything, because I feel like there's so many creators here and there's so many like kids that are just like me. They all just like want to be heard and they all just have so many amazing ideas. And I'm not saying I'm the person that's going to do it by any means. I just know how badly me and my team want it. So we're just going to keep moving like that. But yeah, I really love Vancouver. It's just beautiful here. We got like Whistler right over there. We got jet skiing right here. The weather is crazy. So yeah, I really love Vancouver. And I just hope that even if this album, pays like a little bit of like inspiration to like one kid one day, and he does it, then that means more than anything to me, because that's what I'm trying to do. Just like leave a legacy for this place.
That's amazing. I feel like I have this weird connection to Canada. I don't know what it is, but I'm just rooting for that music scene. I mean, I've only been to Toronto, but I'm like, Canada, like it just has my heart. So it's crazy to see this scene just like emerging and blowing up. It's exciting.
So many amazing artists. Like Toronto by itself as taking over the music industry is insane. And it's so inspirational for like artists like us, that are on the other side of it. Like if he can do it, then we can do it. You know what I mean? Or if she can do it. So yeah, there's a lot of amazing artists coming up and I'm just proud.
I'm going to ask you another hard question about the project. Do you have one track that is your favorite track or like that you think is the standout track on the project?
Growing up, when I was listening to like a lot of music, I think album cuts were like the ones that stood out to me. I never really resonated with the singles, and the songs like, for instance, like Man on the Moon on the Kid Cudi project. Like, yes, he has Pursuit of Happiness, he has Day and Night, but the songs like Soundtrack to My Life, like that really resonated with me. Or like Rodeo, like Antidote didn't stand out to me. Yes, they're amazing songs, don't get me wrong, but the ones that resonated with me was like Impossible or like Maria, or like those type of album cuts that like, the true fans like listen to. So for me on Dust to Dawn, I think the outro, it's called Dawn. And I think that best like wraps in the world of like light and dark of what Dust to Dawn is, and vulnerability and self-empowerment all into one song. And I think that transition at the end, a lot of people aren't going to catch it because it probably takes a minute to get to that beat switch. But for me, like that is the most like, you know, outer body experience I can give someone, and like the best way I can convey my emotion, because I'm not the best with my words by any means, but like in a song, like I can really convey an emotion very well. So I feel like that song more than anything, it really gets like the picture in the world I'm trying to paint for the listener.
That's amazing. I was just going to ask, where does dusk to dawn come in? Like, what is that metaphor? So I think that really sums it up.
Yeah, well, it really does. I think like vulnerability is something that a lot of people, you know, misunderstand as weakness, you know, but as I was creating this process, I learned that it was the most empowering thing for me. And the more and more I opened up, because when I started making this project, I was kind of in a dark place in my life. Like I just got out of a relationship. You know, I was, you know, COVID just hit. I just felt so isolated, and I felt like the only way I could express myself as Corbin, not really Boslen anymore, but Corbin. I wanted people to understand that. And I remember like specifically, me and my executive producer, when we had the whiteboard, we were creating this project, we had a whiteboard, and the first thing we wrote was timeless. We wanted this project to be timeless because Black Lotus, my last project, it was something you can just pick up and put down. But this one, we just wanted artistic integrity, and we wanted to look back on this project in 5 to 10 years and just really still resonate with people and have it be like a moment in my career. And I feel like we really did that. So
That's awesome. Your visuals also that you have, they completely tell a story, and they kind of have, you know, a feeling to it. It's more than just a regular music video. Where does that come from? Like, what influences you? You know, you make the song, you have the track, but then coming to create a visual, and what's your inspiration for that?
I think growing up, my mom and I, we were obsessed with movies. You know, we watched every movie. Like Christopher Nolan right now, like my roommate, he got me hooked. So just movies and just like creating like, you know, these visual representations of emotion, it's insane. And I think now more than ever, especially how like TikTok and everything is such a visual game now. I feel like if you're not on that, then you're kind of missing out on just expressing yourself. And I honestly, I can't take the full credit by any means. Like my creative director, Natasha, she lives with me as well. And like, man, like her and I just bounce ideas back and forth. She's a creative genius. So we literally just come up with these random ideas and they sound crazy, but then once we tell them to people, they're like, okay, let's try it. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think really on this album, I really wanted to like evolve on the idea of what Dust to Dawn can be. And like, I don't know if you noticed, but like both the music videos we dropped, they're like, they play into a story that are connected. So right when
Yes.
one ends, another one begins, and it connects to the trailer as well, the album trailer, and then it connects to the merch, and then it connects to the songs. Like I really wanted to paint this picture. So yeah, I can't really take credit. I think we really just like brainstormed together, and it came from personal experience. That's how I really wanted it to be authentic.
It definitely feels authentic. I love that everything connects together. I think it just adds another layer of just that creative energy or integrity, like you were saying.
Thank you
Uh,
very much.
how did you get started in music? Like, at what point did you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to put my all into?
Uh, Oh, the origin story. I just laugh at it because I tell this joke every time, but I don't know if I can tell on here, but you can delete it. If it's inappropriate, you can delete it. How about that?
Yeah.
Basically, when I was like 13, I grew up in Chilliwack, right? So it's like it's just farmland. There's no rap out there, or at least that I didn't know of at the time. And you know, my mom would listen to Whitney Houston. My dad would listen to like Johnny Cash, and you know, I was writing music at the time because I found like an XXL magazine and MGK was on it, and I was like, who is this? And then I went on a trip to Mexico with my mom and my sister, and all I had was an iPod, and all I had on it was Kid Cudi. So I listened to that over and over and over again, and then I just became obsessed. So I just bought a mic, and I bought like a little Akai Mini, and I set up in my garage. And I was 13 at the time, and I didn't hit puberty yet, and like, you know, like my balls didn't drop. So like, bro, like my voice was so high, like it was like so high, like I could not do anything, and then I just made fun of. So like I stopped doing it, and I picked up rugby for like 5 years, and I played for like Team Canada and stuff at the time. And then I tore my ACL, so like I faced a lot of like, you know, depression and like self-doubt, because when you devote 5 years of your life, I'm sure you know, like when you devote 5 years of your life of something and it gets taken away from you, like it's devastating. You don't really know what to do, especially as like a young man. So at the time I was at university, and the first day I went there, I met my manager, Isaac. And like he kind of gave me, I was making like voice memos at the time, just like trying to like help my mental health. I wasn't really diving into it. And he kind of helped me get inspired again to just like start recording. So I bought some equipment and I started recording in my dorm room. And basically, you know, I'd play some of the songs at like parties and stuff, and people would come out to me like, "Who is this?" And I thought that was crazy. So then kept going, did some shows out there, and then eventually I tore my ACL again. So I was like, okay, that's it. I just got to do it full time. So then I dropped out of university, slept on his couch for like 6 months, and then we just kept building and like threw everything we could at it. And you know, honestly, I can't, like, again, I can't take credit. Like, it really goes down to my team and like my friends and my family to like help me get to where I was. But I'm just so grateful to just know that I can like express myself and help some people through my music, because I feel like that's, sorry if I'm ranting, but I feel like that's one of the biggest like things about sports and music that people don't really understand. Like, when you play sports, like, yes, it's amazing to bring a championship home to your team, sorry, to your town. And it's amazing to like do that for your city and like build that legacy. But then a year after that, you got to do it again. Yes, there's a lot of similarities to music when it comes to albums, but I feel like when it comes to music, the one thing that I saw that was a difference was, you know, you're literally like saving kids' lives, because I'm part First Nations, like indigenous, and I'm part Jamaican. And there are kids on my reserve in Haisa that like are very isolated, and they can't really have a voice or a way to express themselves, or they don't have like, oh, that one superhero, that one guy, like he did it where I'm from, you know. And for me, that's what saved my life. So like having that, or being able to even, you know, contribute to that, I feel like that's so much more important to these kids. So that's what I'm trying to do with this music, is just inspire and just leave a creative legacy. So yeah.
That's so inspiring. That was not a rant. That was very, very interesting. Uh,
Thank
yeah. I guess, did you feel like you got support, you know, when you were first starting out from people? Like you said, your songs were playing at parties. Or did you feel like you were met with hate, or kind of like a, oh, you're just trying this. This isn't a
you.
real
Yeah.
thing?
No, well, it was interesting because when I first started, it was on a university campus. It's called University of Victoria. It's like an hour away from here. And I was like on the rugby team, right? So like all the rugby boys heard my music first. And like it was rap, and they're just kind of played it in the locker room. They kind of made fun of it and stuff. No one really harped on me or like, you know, really made fun of it right off the bat. But then slowly people started to enjoy it. And I don't know why, but like I didn't get a lot of hate right off the bat,
Yeah.
but more than anything now, I just get comparisons. I think a lot of people, when they find a new artist, it's like, you know, it's interesting because when you find a new artist, you subconsciously compare it to another artist. And it's not a negative. I don't see it as like a negative by any means. It's like, for instance, a lot of artists, when they start, it's like walking for the first time as a child. Like you're going to use a parent to help you walk. You're going to mimic their movements so you can, you know, develop your own brain and develop how to do something. And then you'll originally get your own sound. And I think a lot of artists do that. And a lot of consumers don't understand that. And that's fine. But like, I think it's not necessarily hate. I think it's more of just comparison. But it's for me, it's kind of, I don't know, it's bizarre because when you watch a really good movie, you don't be like, wow, that movie is just like this movie, you know? So it's just, it's just, it's bizarre. But I don't know, I just hope people, you know, slowly, when they listen to this album or when they listen to the music to come after, they can really just find my own sound. Because I know I am very early in my career, and like I'm in no position to say like who says what or how they feel, because that's just not what I want to do. But I do want to help people with my music, and I think slowly that message will be conveyed and across.
That's awesome. I can totally see how that could be frustrating. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
double-edged sword. Like, oh, you're being compared to these huge artists and they're listening to your music, but they're not really, you know, saying it's you. They're comparing you to someone else. So I could
I
totally
take it
see
as a
that.
compliment, honestly. I take it as a
Right.
compliment.
Yeah. I have one more question for you so we can wrap it up. But what's next for you? Like, what does the next 5 years look like? What is your biggest goal that you want to hit?
Um, you know, this question, I think about this every day. Like I write a lot of manifestations. Like every single night I write like, you know, a full list of like things I really want to do in my life. And one of the main things that I always write more than anything is just making sure my team and my family are financially stable. Because I feel like I came from a place that, you know, wasn't the prettiest. And a lot of my team members, they didn't come from a place that was the prettiest either. And I feel like the amount of time that they've all sacrificed for me and my vision, I want to give that back to them. And Like, I think that's like the most crucial thing, and, you know, put on for the city. I feel like Vancouver, more than anything, it's kind of casted in a shadow.
Ah,
Like being right beside Toronto, like Toronto is so powerful, and they're always going to be powerful. They're going to keep growing, and I'm very like happy. But I feel like there's so many kids in this city that need a voice and need, you know, just to be heard and need a chance. And it just takes one individual. Like I said in the past, like a couple sentences ago, I'm not saying I'm going to be that guy, but I'm going to do my best to just play a role in that somehow, so someone can be. You know, I want to be that guy, and I'm going to do my best to do that. But man, like, that's in 5 years' time. I just hope, personally, I just want to be on a different creative level. I want to just be creating in a different like realm, in a way where it's just like creating these literal worlds. Like, you know, like Dust to Dawn, it's it's like a kind of like a small little speck of like what I want to do, because I have all these like ideas and all these crazy things, and everyone tells me like, we're not there yet, we're not there yet, and I'm like, yeah, but we're gonna be there soon. So like I can't wait to just express myself and just tap into the culture and really influence the culture. Like, I want to be that artist that, you know, is remembered for years and years and years to come after I'm dead, because that timeless music that resonates with people is what I'm trying to do.
I lied. I actually have one more question for you. You talk about being so close to your team.
Yeah.
How do you think, how important do you think it is to keep that strong circle around you and have the right people around you as well?
It's it's the most crucial thing I've ever came across in my entire life, if I'm honest. Like, I talk about it quite a bit in my album, actually. Like, on Vultures, I say their talons bleed. On Ashes, I say lips like snakes. Like, I tap into it quite a bit, because the deeper and deeper I go into this industry, there's a lot of bloodsuckers. You know, let's just be honest. Like,
Yep.
there's a lot of people that are gonna wear that mask, and it's like you don't know me, I don't know you, but like at the same time, I'm able to like break that fourth wall in a way, because being real is some of the like the truest form I find of just connecting with people, you know, just being Corbin. And that's what like my team and I always wear on our shoulders. And we came from a place that we don't have a lot, and we don't have a lot to like show yet. So I think like having that in our hearts, and like knowing that we all are we all are underdogs at the same time, we resonate with it together. So going into like a different atmosphere, or going into a different like environment, I can always trust the person beside me. And I think that's been like something I carried from sports, probably being in rugby, because like your brothers, when you go into the field, you really resonate with that too. Like, it's just you guys on the field, nobody else. It's just you guys. And it feels like some days, like, you know, when you're in, like, I remember at the beginning of COVID, and you know, I grew up in like, sorry, I didn't grow up. Like, when I moved to Vancouver, I lived like probably 5 minutes away from here, and it's a place called Hastings, and it wasn't the prettiest place by any means. And me and my friend, like Oz, like he was literally sipping on the couch to build this album, and you know, there's like rats on our walls and shit, and like
Oh,
all we had was each other, you know. And like we go on social media and we see like guys blowing up and stuff, and we'd spend like 3 days on one song, and we question ourselves a lot. But at the same time, I think having that circle small, it's never represented about the good times. Like, in a couple of days, the album's about to drop, we're all gonna celebrate, we're gonna be happy, but right after that we go back to work. And like, we're gonna just, the reason why we do that is because we know that there's been those dark days, and we never want to go back to that. Like, escapism is something that resonates with us so much, because we never want to go back to where we started, you know. So no, I love my family. Like, my gang is like everything to me. Like, I, Buck, Natasha, Oz, Cam, like they're they're my pillars. Kevin, you know, like, like that's my family. So I can't do anything without them. And I see Boslen is like, sorry if I'm ranting again, but like
no.
Boslen kind of like, I don't see it as like an artist. You know, I see it as like, I want it to be like just a vessel to help them. And because they're all creators too. Like, I think they all need to express themselves just as much as I need to express myself. So giving them opportunities is giving me opportunities. So I just feel like that's how I want to build my team. And, you know, I think a lot of that inspiration did come from Drake and like the way he moves. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for meeting with me, talking with me. This is super insightful. I'm so excited for the project drop. I'm excited to see Vancouver and how that grows, the music scene grows, Canada as a whole. I'm so excited to see how you grow as an artist. I cannot thank you enough for meeting with me.
No, thank you. And also happy birthday again. Make sure
Thank you so much. Thank you.
working on your birthday, and I applaud you, because like that's all the power to you, you know, go on.